The end of 2024 is near, or maybe it's already 2025 when you're watching this, but let's check out all the ships and vehicles released during 2024. I hope these are all of it, and I am sure if I miss anything, someone will let me know. So let us start. The first two vehicles to release were the Hornet Mark IIs, the F7C and F7A. In short, they are improved variants of Mark Is, being smaller and having more firepower. The F7C Mark II still offering the civilian role with storage area on top, but this can be swapped out for a turret. The F7A Mark II on the other hand is a proper military variant. I believe at the moment it is still one of the strongest fighters in the game, extremely overpowered. Technically, it may not be a fully released ship, as you could only get this via an upgrade kit, which could only be unlocked by completing the Overdrive initiative, and for now that event has passed. Technically, the Hornet Mark I F7A was also put on sale for the first time, but it used to be available with an upgrade kit before the Mark II was released, so I'm not going to count that. The third new vehicle was the Misc Raptor. Okay, fine, it was an April Fool's prank. The real third and fourth vehicles were the Mirai Pulse and Mirai Pulse LX. Both are very small hover bikes, extremely compact. The default Pulse coming with a small size 2 Gatling laser, and the Pulse LX focusing on racing, thus having no weapons at all. Instead, it will try to outrun and outmaneuver others. They are one of the smallest hoverbikes and can fit practically everywhere. An ideal little vehicle for any ship that can fit it. Fifth was our new favorite ground medical vehicle, the Ursa Medivac. It won't have seats for the crew, for the Marines, but it does offer the medbed and probably will be very flexible ground approach vehicle. That's also on the count of this medical variant still having the dual size 1 laser repeaters on a turret. And if you have 2 or 3 players, this can still be ideal, as this variant is not that much different with its stats from the default variant. Only difference really being that it cannot fit that many crew members. Next up, for number 6, we have the Argo MPUV Tractor. This is a forklift ship. It has no firepower and cannot quantum travel. It is really a work vehicle, coming with a strong tractor beam and even capable of attaching containers behind the ship. I think they should just make a hybrid that has everything from all of the 3 variants which they have made thus far, because they are all rather similar, and it could come with a default container at the back meant for crew transport. For the 7th new vehicle, we have the almighty Aegis Saber Firebird. This missile-focused light fighter, which has also been improved since the release, is focused on speed and keeping the distance. You want to use the missiles instead of its main armament. It is one of the bigger light fighters and tries to avoid getting caught in close quarters. But if you should find yourself in a rather close combat scenario, you might just want to fly your way out of there as fast as possible, since you should be faster than most other ships. 8 is another Saber. This time the Saber Peregrine. Ship nobody was expecting and kinda even wanted. The dedicated Saber racing ship. They did tease us with the Saber ship, but most of us were hoping for a different type. It's extremely fast racer, but once again it is also rather big for a light fighter. I think this may have been the most disappointing ship released this year, as most were hoping for some type of a Saber Raven. For number 9, we have the Argo Atlas. This is a mech suit, which has a potent tractor beam. It is rather slow, but the suit itself was also invulnerable. Not sure if it still is, but it doesn't really matter as the person piloting it is exposed and can take damage from most if not all sources. Its main feature was the really strong tractor beam, which allows you to position and pick up items from really far distances, so it is a real workhorse. Number 10 and 11 were the Zeus Mark IIs, the CL and the Zeus ES. CL focusing on trade and having 128 units of cargo space, alongside with a tractor beam offering competition to other medium-sized transports. While the Zeus ES focuses on exploration, thus having more accommodations, smaller cargo area, and one more size 2 shield. It also has more fuel as an explorer, and the firepower of these two ships is roughly the same, but their focused use is different, as the Explorer is meant to travel further and longer distances, while the Transport is more work-oriented. 12th was the Argo CSV SM. This is the transport ground vehicle. It is a brother to the CSV FM that is the same type but base building oriented vehicle planned for the future. This transport variant is meant to work alongside its brother, bringing resources and moving containers so the drones can build your base. Right now alone it is not worth much as the cargo is only limited to 4 units. 13th was the all new starter, the Crusader Intrepid, focusing more on the starting roles, yet being durable and offering size 4 weapon slot. It even has a back room with components and engineering terminal, while also 2 small cargo areas which can be used as an alternative entry points for the ship. It has accommodations and is somewhat in a style of RS Ion, trying to be a starting accommodations offering variant of that ship. 14th was the Starlancer Max. This improved next level variant of the Freelancer series feels ideal for most medium cargo jobs. We can store maximum of 224 units of cargo on board and still have plenty of room left in the back for some of the vehicles. And the ship is big, with having 2 decks, 2 turrets, big accommodations rooms and an engine room. Only real downside is the unused cargo space at the back of the ship, which does not have the grid. But on the upside, you can fit an Argo Atlas right there. 15th is the Capital Class Corvette, the Polaris. This torpedo-focused monster can destroy most if not all currently available ships with a single torpedo hit. It also has 7 turrets, which can make any encounter with this ship deadly, and not to mention point defense cannons, while there is also a spot for a fighter or 2 in the hangar, which this ship has. Perhaps even more if you fill it with snobs. This is the first real combat-focused capital class ship. It is huge, it is powerful, and it is dangerous if you can man the beast. 16th was the Terrapin Medic. This relatively small ship with tier 2 medbed is already unique. Not to mention that it is extremely durable for such a small vehicle, yet it lacks any significant firepower, having only 2 size 2 weapon slots. It is medical focused, and I like when a ship which is not good for filling combat roles are instead put to use in another support role. This is ideal, and the tier 2 medbed is the best ships will be able to have. 17th and 18th spot were the Hornet Mark II F7CR, aka the Tracker, and the F7CS, the Ghost. Tracker focusing on medium fighter radar exploration. The end goal is for this medium-sized ship to scout areas more efficiently than others in its class, a dedicated scouting ship for the future. As for the Hornet Mark II Ghost, tries to focus on stealth. At first glance this may not seem much, but when focusing on stealth components and limiting power usage, you can have a really stealthy medium-sized ship. If built correctly, being even stealthier than some of the light fighters with stealth components. Basically, they are Mark II variants of Mark I ships. 19th and 20th were the latest 2 additions, the Mirai Guardian and the Mirai Guardian QI, both being heavy fighters with big weapons, marketed for pyro and offering some powerful damage output, while also having lots of health. The QI variant focuses on quantum dampener and loses some speed and mobility on account of that, but almost everything else is same between these 2 variants. They have some visual similarities to the Furies, but are totally different beasts belonging to a different class and focusing on different types of combat. And I believe that's all they wrote. So 20 new vehicles or variants of existing vehicles that are new total. And around 8 of them or their series were brand new to the Star Citizen. Not all of them were remarkable or even noteworthy, but the options are growing as well as their focus on ship sales, and you should never forget that. I believe it is still good that we have many options. They probably should start focusing more on the game and less on the ship store. But there were truly some nice, unique and cool releases this year, from the Hornet Mark IIs to Polaris. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.